Oh, there we go. So now we just wait for people to show up. Okay, the volume is cranked up. What's up, people? I just saw 4 of you show up. How are you guys doing tonight? Dwayne, what's going on, man? I wanted to say that I was going live when I showed up on BBD's stream, but I don't want to promote my stuff on his channel, during his show, especially when I don't have permission to. Brody, how are you doing, man? Yes, it has been an awesome last couple of days recruiting for the Irish. Who was it we got the day before? A tight end, and then today a big offensive lineman recruit out of Michigan. Rocco, was it Rocco Ballard? Is that his name? Spindler. I don't know where I got Ballard from. Yeah, Rocco Spindler. Well, I try to be, Dwayne. I really do try. I can't lie, I'm not always a gentleman. I have my times where I let the worst get the better of me. But I try to keep it cool, at least for the most part. But yeah, Brody, I know that we also had a 4-star. We landed a 4-star running back out of Louisiana, so that was huge for us as well. But I'll tell you guys one thing. Say what you want about Brian Kelly. He knows how to recruit. He knows how to bring the talent here. I mean, that's, every coach is going to swing and miss on recruits. So anyway, guys, I was definitely planning on going an hour for sure, maybe a little longer. But yeah, anything you guys want to talk about, we can. I agree, Brody. Another wide receiver wouldn't hurt. And speaking of wide receivers, I saw that Kevin Austin had just had surgery, successful surgery, I might add, for was a broken. So I'm not exactly sure what his status is going to be for the season. I don't know if it's if he's going to be sidelined for a while, miss the whole season, or just what with Kevin Austin. JJ, what's up? So yeah, JJ, I did get your message before I went live here. Did you? Since I'm using StreamYard, did you want to get on here and discuss it with me? Join the chat? Or the stream, I mean? Yeah, StreamYard, I can have up to 6 people on here. I've noticed that's what a lot of the other guys on YouTube use is StreamYard. So I thought I'd give it a try. Oh yeah. I don't want to have you come on while you're driving. Last thing you need is an accident on account of me. But But yeah, oh shoot. I hate it when these ads pop up. I know you guys can't see them on your end, but it drives me crazy when I get some ad that pops up right in the middle of the screen when I'm trying to talk. But yeah, here on StreamYard, I can actually invite people on if I want to. So if anybody's ever interested in actually joining the stream, just let me know. Of course, that's at my discretion. But anyway, so JJ and I were talking before I went live, and it actually concerns the commitment of Rocco Spindler. So, and this is when JJ told me this, I found this very disturbing. So apparently, with Rocco Spindler, his two choices were either us or Michigan. That's what it came down to. He chooses us, and apparently, on this guy's Twitter page, a bunch of Michigan fans are leaving some derogatory comments involving Declan Sullivan. And for those of you whose name that might not ring a bell, he was the videographer at Notre Dame who got killed in that scissor lift accident with the wind. These Michigan fans are making some very nasty derogatory comments on this kid's Twitter page because he didn't commit to Michigan. That's disgusting. I mean, I know that these people don't represent the entire Michigan fan base, but I've seen a lot of them do shit like this before. Same in regards to the Lizzie Seberg thing. Just disgusting. So yeah, JJ, how bad? I haven't seen the kid's Twitter page yet, but how bad are they getting these comments? And with that, I'll go to a few more comments here. Dwayne, you're right on that. He said, with Notre Dame not being in a conference, their margin of error is very small. I wish you guys a great season. Well, thank you for that. And you are absolutely right. Even though this is a 1-year thing, there's not a lot of room for error because it is vital. And I actually heard this from another Notre Dame YouTuber. He calls himself Always Irish. His actual name's John. But he made a great point about this season. God willing, we have one, because I know the talks with like the Big Ten and whatnot and what just happened with the MAC, which I'll get into that in a sec. But this is a very rare thing for the Irish. I mean, this is actually unique amongst, I think, all college football programs. The one and only time where we actually get to test out a conference for one season. Granted, yes, it took a viral pandemic to make that happen. But like I said, Always Irish said it the best. We have to, at the very least, get to the conference championship game. We have to go at least 9-1 in ACC play. Because look, here's the thing: if we lose to Clemson in the regular season, okay. I mean, well, it's not okay. A loss sucks, but it wouldn't be surprising to people. But the big problem is, even though the ACC is down, as some people like to say, these teams that haven't been good in recent years, they see us on the schedule. That puts that bullseye right on our back. They're going to be gunning for us. So they'll be like, oh, well, you want to overlook us and look towards Clemson, huh? Well, we'll show you. So we got to be careful that we don't let any of the other teams on our schedule pick us off. And unfortunately, well, not unfortunately, but it's good to have a strong schedule. But if we're not careful, that could happen because there's some teams that could do it. I mean, you got North Carolina with Mac Brown, who is bringing in some ridiculous talent to a school that's normally a basketball school. Pittsburgh, for just historically, has always given us fits, especially defensively. Who else? Boston College. They're another sleeper, mainly because of the situation with Phil Dracovic. And Florida State is Florida State. You know, they always pull in talent. So you can't take anybody on the schedule lightly. Because let me tell you guys something, and I agree with John on this, on Always Irish. If we get picked off by a couple of these teams and go like, I don't know, 8-2, 7-3, then that's going to give all the ND haters out there even more ammo. Because they're going to be like, well, see, we told you that you guys couldn't cut it in a conference. So that shit talk and the overused insults are going to intensify. So this is our chance to pull a major troll job. Because, hey, if we go 9-1, 10-0, undefeated, win the ACC, I couldn't think of a bigger troll job than that. And then getting to go back to independence next season. But anyway. Oh, hold on a sec, guys. Sorry about that. Had to turn off my phone alarm. So anyway, catching up on the comments. Okay, a guy who called Mark Kramer. I don't believe I've seen you before. Welcome. TD Us. Okay, it's different, unusual name. You say that you knew it, or I knew it. You knew what? What exactly are you referring to? Now this one, this one's a funny one. Pam C, the welfare queen. Can I have $3? No, you cannot have $3. Dwayne, you know this person? This Pam C? Thanks, Mark. I appreciate you joining in. I'm not a grammar Nazi, Mark. I knew what you meant. But anyway, I wasn't ignoring your question either. I just happened to notice some of these goofy names, and I wanted to address that first. But you asked me earlier, Mark, do you think the Irish will stay in the ACC if the season is a win-win? Honestly, no. I don't think we'll stay. One of the main reasons, I think, is financially because, the NBC contract that Notre Dame has, they get paid $15 million a year. So I don't think they're going to want to split that on an annual basis with other teams. So, I mean, of course, I could be wrong, but Notre Dame is usually business first. So I base it off of that. And plus, the independence factor is pretty cool. I mean, getting to schedule who we want to schedule, that's always been pretty cool and a lot of fun because we've had some good matchups in there. I mean, and plus, this isn't what's going on with COVID-19. This obviously is not an everyday thing. I mean, this has backed a lot of people into a corner. And so drastic measures had to be taken. But also, JJ, that's good to know that the comments on that kid's page have been flooded out with the comments from the good people. Yeah, Brody, I saw that too, that the North Carolina game is going to be played on Black Friday. That's crazy. And that very well could be a dangerous game too. Because that's when let's see. I mean, all I know is a Friday night crowd that's going to be pretty rowdy. Granted, the stadium likely won't be full, but still, big games in town. Oh, Beetle Bailey Logan, welcome. And yeah, that's a good question. What do you need $3 for? I mean, if you're gonna ask somebody for money, I'd ask a lot more than $3. And then Beetle says every ACC team made $30 million last year in TV money. SEC team made 42. It's not 1992 anymore. $50 million from NBC is pocket change. Okay, well, if that's the case, then I'll have to look into that. But if that's the case, okay, you do have a pretty good point. But Notre Dame being a private school, they pull in dough from a lot more than just NBC. But yeah, I like I said, I didn't know that all the teams in those conferences made that much. But regardless, I mean, Notre Dame does not need the NBC contract to survive. I mean, they're a very rich school. But still, I mean, 15 mil. I mean, yeah, it's not obviously 42 mil, 15 mil. That's a big difference, but still 15 mil ain't nothing to scoff at. Well, I guess that's somewhat true. And because NBC can only broadcast 6 ND home games a year, that's not worth very much. I guess if you break it down, I guess technically it's not. And who knows? I could have the terms of the deal wrong too. Well, actually, you know what? One way to find out. Oh, yeah. Okay, so Notre Dame's current deal with NBC goes through 2025. Yep, $15 million annually for football. Had never run for more than 5 years. Okay. But yeah, that's 15 million just from NBC. Like I said, there's a lot of other things they make money through too. And granted, this article I'm reading is from 2013. Well, Beetle, I just like to do my research and make sure that it is accurate. Because I remember seeing it was 15 million before, and I wasn't sure if there had been any changes. So. But like I said, regardless, I mean, they profited. They profit from so much more than just the NBC contract. It's not even funny. I mean, so many alumni, fans, and so on, they put so much money into that university. So, hey, Beetle, is this some kind of trash talking you're starting? Because the Irish still do matter. If they're not relevant anymore, then why do people talk about them so much? Because I'd like to think. See, here's the thing, people. I'd like to think if a team is irrelevant, then that means nobody would be talking about them. Nobody would care. But apparently, people do. But yeah, I mean, I agree that you know, numbers don't lie. It's been a long time since we won a national championship, 88. I still think we could claim the 93 national title, but that's another story. It's been a while since a major bowl victory. That's true. But the thing is, though, we are so close to breaking that hump. Just pick the wrong times for a setback. But anyway, instead of harping on the past, talking about some recent news, I'm sure you guys saw this. The MAC conference has become the first FBS conference to call off their season. And, of course, that means that once again, we have to scrounge up another opponent for our +1 game, the non-conference game that we get. See, a couple people just showed up. Yeah, Rudy was offsides. Tighten up. Notre Dame is only relevant because their fans are so stupid and fun to mess with, like you. Oh, okay, I know this. This is the guy who showed up a few weeks ago on a live stream. The as you guys can tell from Tighten Up's from his picture, he supports a domestic terrorist organization known as Black Lives Matter. So let that sink in. Chef Boyardee, I saw you on a couple other people's streams. No, actually, I have a few cans, but thank you. But anyway, JJ just saw your comment. This says a lot. 3 straight 10+ win seasons in a row. We have 10 or more games, 4 out of the last 5 years. Sounds pretty good to me. We have a solid program, not irrelevant at all. Yeah, that says it. That says it all. Yeah, Dwayne, these troll accounts. This guy actually, if it's the same guy, about I think it was like 2 or 3 weeks ago when I did a live stream, this guy kept creating account after account after account, which just tells me that it's someone who has way too much time on their hands. But I think what really got this guy riled up is he saw a video that I did telling the truth about the Black Lives Matter organization, and he didn't like it because he believes all the nonsense, woke, liberal garbage, and that's his problem, not mine. It's basically like what Jack Nicholson said in A Few Good Men. You can't handle the truth. Same with this guy. Wow. Some of these names. Was Rudy really offsides? I don't think so, says this guy. Actually, Brody, yes, I did have some troll accounts. I erased them. But there was one time last year, actually, Big Vol Daddy was doing a live stream with ACP Carter. And you guys, I actually made a video of me doing this. And I told BVD that it was me afterwards. But I came into his with 4 names. Not saying anything nasty like these people, just saying goofy stuff, not trash talking. Just having some fun, basically just to get him to repeat what I was saying. Like one of the names I had was Barney McDougal, and what did I say? Oh, I took any of you guys watch a show on Practical Jokers? I ripped off a line from them. And I asked BVD how much he would sell his door locks and shower heads from his house for. You know, it's just stupid stuff like that. Hugh Hefner's cleaning lady. I wouldn't mind one. Is your mother available? Perhaps your sister, your wife? I heard they were pretty good at it from all the other guys. Let's see, Hurricane Logan. What about the IRA? IRA is a terrorist organization. See, there's a major difference if you actually did your history. The IRA was actually oppressed by the British. See, the British had control in Ireland, and they were actually freedom fighters. And they had no choice but to fight guerrilla warfare and all that, just to, you know. But they weren't out just rioting and burning places down like all these idiots in the Black Lives Matter organization are. They were actually fighting for independence, fighting for freedom. Yeah, and that was a long-ass time ago, Fries. So instead of constantly being angry about something that nobody was alive for, and I'm talking about slavery here, get over it. And if you guys want to know another history lesson here, white Irish people were actually slaves in this land too. Go look it up. Do you hear us bitching and complaining about supposed systemic racism or demanding reparations? No. You know why? Because we don't like to play victim. We can take a lesson from history and move the hell on with our lives. Now, if you're talking about like the civil rights era, where blacks couldn't go into certain restaurants and swimming pools, drinking fountains, all that, yeah, that's true. Of course, that's true. But it got resolved, didn't it? And also, Fries, what cult church are you talking about? Because if you're talking about the Catholic Church, I'm not Catholic. Okay. Hey, you know, I've heard the indentured servants crap so many times, and ironically, one of them was from a Notre Dame football player who clearly is very, very uneducated. But the fact is this: you're either a slave or you're not. Indentured servants were slaves. See, this is how the history books likes to get out of that. They call them indentured servants because it doesn't fit the narrative. Only certain groups of people can be slaves. But no, all these people in the Black Lives Matter organization, they just love playing their victim card. They just love being angry about something that's never even happened to them, like the slavery stuff and whatnot. And the funny part is they like to blame the police force for this, all this stuff. Well, first off, if you think that black people are just randomly getting killed by cops like it's some kind of pandemic, then you're out of your freaking mind. Actually, it goes on longer than just 400 years, officer. Not necessarily in this land, but you know, they were sent all over the world. When did the IRA blow up planes? Actually, no, I'm not racist, officer, because there's a lot of black people who feel the same way that I do. They think the same way about the Black Lives Matter organization. Now, do Black Lives Matter in general? Of course they do. Absolutely. Absolutely. But the organization itself, which is a bunch of Marxist black supremacists, no, that's a terrorist organization. And they show that when they go and burn down buildings, riot, loot. Dwayne, are you talking to me or this other guy? Oh, hold on one sec, guys. Pan Am Flight 103 ring a bell. Can't say that it does, but I can look it up. Mm-hmm. All right, I'm not going to spend the whole stream just reading everything. I'm kind of skimming over everything right now. I'm not seeing anything about the IRA. Look it up, clown. What do you think I was just doing? But how does someone have all this time on their hands? I mean, my goodness. I wonder who it is. But I did take the time to look up what that guy was talking about, and I wasn't seeing anything about the IRA on any of that. Saw CIA. No, he wasn't. He was not, Mark. But yeah, enough is enough of that guy. I took care of all those accounts, but I'm sure he'll be back with something. What's up, Cole Domer? Yeah. Yes. Rocco Spindler, that was a huge get for the Irish. And Quentin Nelson was pretty good. So if this guy's anything like Quentin, we can expect more of the same. Well, now these names are getting ridiculous. Chess Hall's flu doctor. What the hell do I have to do with Chess Hall? Yes, he does, Dwayne. Way too many. I mean, like I started to say earlier, I did a troll thing once to BVD, and that was last year, and that was just out of good fun. Because I forget who was it that said that I had troll accounts. Let's see, was it you, Mark? I don't know. It doesn't matter. But yeah, no, I can tell you guys exactly what my troll names are. Barney McDougal, Blueberry Harry, Cooley Whistles, and what was that fourth one? Yanni Van Halen. Those last two were ripoffs from the show Impractical Jokers. But those are the four names that I used when I was pranking Big Ball Daddy last year, and I haven't used those names since. I haven't. I mean, I think I might have. I think I deleted all of them. Well, it doesn't matter, Mark. I just know someone earlier here in the chat said that I had screen names, troll names. I just forgot who said it. But yeah, I did. It was just for that one prank that I did on Big Ball Daddy. So anyway, let's get back on track here. Yeah, Johnny, you say people act as if racism and slavery is exclusively an American sin. Slavery existed long before the U.S. ever existed, and we had the Portuguese, Spanish, and British to thank for that. Yeah, that's true. And that's the thing, all these people in the BLM organization and the movement, whatever you want to refer to them as, just goes to show how uneducated they are. The ones they demand reparations for slavery and all that. Well, JJ, I'm glad you brought that up because it was the Portuguese and the Spaniards who started the African slave trade. The only thing America was guilty of is buying into it. But yeah, people, I mean, don't get the wrong idea. Black lives in general do matter. This organization does not, because they're not about fighting for injustice and all that crap. You know, they're using a guy's death to basically start a race war. That's what they're all about. And actually, there's a guy I encourage all of you guys to go check out. I featured one of his videos in a video that I did recently. His name is Duron Slater, and this guy is a black man. He has said things that were more harsh than I just did about Black Lives Matter. And actually, if you guys want, I can get you the link to the video. But I know that there's plenty of black people who feel the same way about this organization that I do. And I wish people would realize that all these pro athletes and these celebrities speaking favorably of it, and politicians as well, I wish they would get it through their thick heads that these people don't give a rat's ass about them. They are only using them to further their own agenda. And I've said this a million times before on this channel, but if they actually think that Colin Kaepernick, for example, who started all the kneeling crap, if they think he actually gives two shits about them, they are sorely mistaken. It is, Mark. I mean, you hit the nail right on the head. Mark says all lives matter. It's just political warfare. Absolutely. Absolutely it is. And then the funny thing, all the stuff that follows is, you know, they start tearing down statues of people like George Washington, Abraham Lincoln, because Washington apparently owned slaves, which I think that is true. But these same people were also responsible for trying to end it too, especially Abraham Lincoln, who did. He put the finishing touches on it. And now, if you want to get technical here, if you want to remove statues of people who, because they were supposedly bad because they owned slaves, we'll just say for being bad people. How about that? Then why are they glorifying freaking George Floyd? Granted, look, I'm not saying that what happened to him was right. He should not have been killed the way he was. And apparently, I guess there's other footage of it that's been released. I haven't had a chance to see it yet, but the guy didn't deserve to be killed or murdered, you know, the way that he was. But I don't think it's right to make him a martyr either, because look at his past. This is a guy who pistol whipped a pregnant woman. I mean, if you want to be technical about it, that doesn't make him a good person either. And then the other situation that happened down in Atlanta with that Rayshard Brooks. I mean, drunk in a Wendy's drive-thru. Cops pull him over. Everything's all nice and calm. They do a field sobriety test on him, determine that he wasn't fit to drive, go to arrest him calmly, not roughly, very, very softly and whatnot. He fights with them. Both officers have to take him down. He punches one of the officers in the face, steals the one cop's taser, runs away. They chase after him, and he turns and fires a taser back at him. And yeah, they take him down. And the unbelievable thing about that situation, guys, I've actually talked to some people in my own family about this, and they said, oh, they should just let the guy run. Let him go. They would have caught him later. That's not how it works. You do not run from the police. I mean, what is with our society today that they think this stuff is okay? That I really wonder what goes through these people's minds. But not only does he run, which you do not do from the police, he turns and fires a taser on him. What do you think is going to happen? Especially when the guy's drunk and a taser can deliver 50,000 volts of electricity. What if he holds that taser down longer than he's supposed to? He could kill the cop. But also, what kind of precedent does that set for young kids out there, especially young black kids? Teach them that it's okay to disrespect authority, run from the police. No. So you want to look at the real problems in this country, stuff like that is it. And I'm sorry for bringing this up, guys, but if these trolls want to start the BLM talk, hey, I'll hit them with facts. But I can tell you guys one thing. I mean, obviously, with the comment that was made about the IRA, obviously, I'm not in the IRA, okay? But I can tell you guys one thing. Michael Collins, I don't know if you guys ever saw the movie on him, but if you do, if you haven't, I recommend it because it's a really good movie. Liam Neeson plays Michael Collins. With the hold that the British had on the country of Ireland, forcing them to bow down to the crown. The IRA, when Michael Collins started it, it was about getting the Brits out of our country. We don't need them here governing us. This is our country, not theirs. It's about uniting Ireland. And like I said earlier to the punk that showed up and his multiple channels, guerrilla warfare was all that they could do. Now, obviously, I mean, my buddy Jerry, if I brought him on, he could explain the IRA a hell of a lot better. Because I'm of Irish heritage, yes. There's Irish in my blood, but I'm an American. Okay? Someone like my buddy Jerry who grew up over in Ireland, they would know about that stuff a hell of a lot better than I would. Thanks, Dwayne. I appreciate that. I mean, the thing is, when you have that happen, you can't completely lose it because, I mean, yeah, you're going to feed the trolls regardless of no matter what you say, but you do have to keep your cool about it. I mean, yeah, I did block these guys, yes, but I know that every time I do a video or another live stream, they're going to be back. It's just, unfortunately, this is part of the YouTube world. Like I said, though, I'd like to know who it is that's screwing with me. Is this someone that just happened to stumble upon me or someone from the past or just what? I mean, of course, I always have my suspicions, but, if you can't prove it, then, you can't prove it. Oh, Craig, what's up, man? Pennsylvania Dutch, that's actually a language that the Amish speak, right? But you're absolutely right. I mean, regardless of where our heritage is, where our ancestors came from, we're Americans first. And my buddy Jerry, I told him that. I'm like, yeah, man, look, I love my Irish heritage. I'm proud of it, but I got to focus on being an American first. That's how you handle the Alabama haters, huh, Dwayne? But yeah, I mean, and the funny thing too is, going back to those guys, the BLM organization and, that crowd, they talk. They talk about wanting to bring us together, bring unity, but yet so many things that they're doing is nothing but segregation. Like, for example, in the NFL, week 1, they're going to play the supposed Black national anthem, which, if you guys did any research, That song is actually a commemoration of Abraham Lincoln's birthday. Well, first off, it's Dwayne. You say you know who it is, but it's not you, is it? Mark, I have some German in my blood too. See, my father's side of the family is Irish. See, I'm about 60% Irish, and then the other 40% is a mixture of German, Danish, and various other Scandinavian countries. And 10% is from my mother's side is also 10% Irish too, because we saw the what you call it, the ancestry stuff. I don't think it was ancestry.com, but it was something like that. Yeah, I know, Craig. It's irritating. But the thing is, that just shows you how uneducated these people are who say that, because anyone who supports Donald Trump is called a racist, but yet they can't say they can't give you one reason why he's racist. That's just all that remark is a cop out. JJ, I saw that game last night. That was awesome. I was able to catch the last few minutes of it. Kind of scared me at the end though when the puck got stolen. Thank God that that dude missed wide. But anyway, Dwayne, hang on a second. Okay, Dwayne, I was going to try to private chat with you so that way you didn't have to tell me in front of everybody. Because apparently that feature is on here. I'm just not exactly sure how to use it. Because there's a private chat feature on here. Oh, hell, doesn't matter. Is it who I think it is? And I see your guys' other comments here. I just wanted to ask Dwayne this quick question. I could easily play 20 questions with you, but I'll ask this. Is it someone who's been messing with me for a long time? And is he a fan of a team from down south that's connected to the state of Florida? And when I say connected, I mean above the state of Florida. And just yes or no answer, does Big Ball Daddy do a show with him? You can tell me that much. Anyway, getting to your other comments. Yeah, JJ brings up another good point. I forget the dude's name, but there was a player from the Minnesota Wild hockey team. And here's the thing, these protesters who kneel during the national anthem, these professional athletes, they say it's out of no disrespect to the country or the flag, but there was a player from the Minnesota Wild, And correct me if I'm wrong, JJ, but he's Canadian, correct? But anyway, this guy, I didn't see it, but I guess he goes out to center ice or whatever, makes a speech, and he ends up kneeling for the American national anthem, but he stands for the Canadian national anthem. So he's willing to disrespect one country, but not the other. And I'm sorry, yeah, and what JJ said here in his comment, Sean, talk about the scumbag Minnesota Wild player who knelt for our national anthem, but stood for his as if Canada is this perfect nation. What Canada did to the indigenous people in their country. Yeah, the Eskimos. I mean, you know, we look at Canada and think they're all these nice, over-friendly people. That's not the case. Not the case at all. I mean, you know, it's a fact up in Canada. Oh, I just saw this, Mark. You have a good night as well, and thank you for showing up. I hope I see you again in the future. But yeah, Dwayne, if that is truly him, then I wish that he would just stop. I mean, I've left him alone for a long ass time. Hadn't even really given him a second thought. But I was going to finish saying, yeah, it's a fact that up in Canada, you can be thrown in jail for quoting certain passages in the Bible. And I've seen it happen. I've read stories where it happened. But yeah, so yeah, Craig, you also said before two things. Your dad's side of the family's from the Netherlands. Okay, that's cool. That's awesome. And you're a Golden Knights fan, and you think that the Vegas Golden Knights beat the Blackhawks in 5 in the next round. Well, I mean, the Golden Knights are a very good team, and the Blackhawks have 10 rookies on their roster right now. So that could very well be the case, but I'm standing by my Hawks, man. I have faith. Bob Walker, how's it going, dude? Oh, you're packing for a move, huh? Yeah, it's always fun. I've moved so many times. I feel your pain. It sucks doing all that packing and crap. And my buddy Eric, how you doing, man? Craig says, sorry, but can someone explain what the hell Gandhi's statue has to do with BLM? What, are they tearing down a Gandhi statue? No, I didn't hear anything about that. Yeah, I agree with you. What would Gandhi have to do with that? Makes no sense. Just like what does the Washington Redskins, what did that have to do with BLM and George Floyd? I mean, really, what do Native American Indians have to do with black people? Absolutely nothing. That sounds like a good time, Eric. I might actually be doing that myself tomorrow night. Visit my dad and have a few cold ones. Oh, damn it. I dropped my bottle cap. Really, Craig, that they want to tear down a Gandhi statue in Washington. It's so stupid. The mindset of these people in the Black Lives Matter organization, these people are just downright sick and twisted evil people. They're domestic terrorists. They really are. And when I say that, I don't think that's I think that's a very fair statement. Because peaceful protesting would not mean burning down cities. Yeah, Eric, I'm going to miss tailgating this season too. It's been announced that Notre Dame is not going to allow tailgating, unfortunately, because there's sometimes where I just drive up to the campus just to do that, not even going to the game. But hey, Eric, since you're here, do you want to join the stream? Because here on StreamYard, I can invite people on. Because I know JJ said that he was driving. Yeah, no, you're right on that, Bob. It's going to be a tough matchup for sure for the Blackhawks. Vegas, I mean, they are such a good team. You got to give credit where credit is due. Not that I hate the Vegas Knights. Okay, Eric. Let's see. Oh, I don't want to display your comment, but yeah, I was telling Dwayne here. There's a way to private chat here on StreamYard, but I haven't figured it out yet. So yeah, here's the StreamYard link for you to join. Well, you know what? Dwayne, it's funny that you mentioned that because you can tear down statues, you can take flags down and all this stuff. It's not going to change the past. You can't just because you erase something doesn't mean that it didn't happen. You're absolutely right. I mean, are these people that stupid that they can't figure that out? And Craig, both these comments of yours. Yo, what's up, Eric? Let's see. Hang on.
Post may add you am I in?
Yeah, you're on. You're on.
All right, nice.
See, this is only my second time using StreamYard, so I'm still trying to get used to some of it.
Hold on a minute. All right, let me. I gotta send it. Someone wants me to send them the link to it to the stream. Hold on 1 second. Am I still on there?
Yeah, you're on. Your screen's frozen, but I can hear you, and I'm sure everybody else can too.
All right, now I'm in. All right, how's everybody doing?
Guys, this is Eric. He is known as Syracuse and Buffalo Sports. And Eric, it is nice to finally get the chance to talk to you face to face.
Nice to get the chance to talk to you as well. Excited for our matchup. I believe we met a couple different times. It hasn't gone too well. Met in 2018 and 2014. Both didn't go that well. 2014 we actually had a chance to win, but we actually forced Golson into 5 turnovers, but we could do nothing with them. So didn't end up going through for us, I'm afraid.
Well, you guys did get us in 2008.
2008 was not a good year for either of us by our standards. By Notre Dame, we're not looking to go 6-6, and tell you what, that was a really rough time for Syracuse, and because the problem was we were trying to turn Syracuse into a place that it isn't. They got rid of Paul Pasqualoni, which, okay, it was getting a bit stale, I guess. It was getting a bit outdated. So we moved on from him. But you bring in a West Coast athletic director and a West Coast coach into a Northeast football. It's just not going to work. It's not the same place. And it showed. We didn't have the athletes to do that stuff.
No, I mean, if you're going to implement a new offense, I mean, yeah, the first few years, and this is going to sound bad, but you kind of got to, I mean, unless you have players that can adjust to a new style of offense, you're going to have to kind of weed out those guys that are already there until you get your guys in there. I mean, I know that sounds cruel, but it's just a fact.
Yep. Oh, and that's exactly what Doug Marrone did when he took over. He basically told people, look, if you want to stay, you can. But I'm going to be honest with you on how much you're really going to get, implemented in our system. So if you'd like to transfer, I'm going to give you the opportunity to. Otherwise, forever hold your peace.
Yeah, exactly. And just address a couple of the comments here because I don't want to just ignore them. But so first off, Craig Sebring, he says he asks who is Notre Dame going to replace Western Michigan with, because as we all know, the MAC conference became the first FBS conference to cancel its football season, and that's a good question. If you want my honest opinion, I still think Navy's out of the question because, well, they want to keep their home game at Annapolis, and with ACC rules, that can't happen. So I think we're probably going to go with another American team or Conference USA. That's just my opinion, though.
SU ended up sticking with Liberty. We had a few. Colgate canceled theirs, so they were out of the question. And then I don't know. We ended up sticking with just Liberty, which I don't know. That program seems to be like very controversial.
Why do you say that? I guess I probably should know, but I don't know too much about Liberty.
Liberty just doesn't have very good history. They were also one of the few campuses they actually opened up their campus during the Corona crisis.
Oh, no kidding.
They caught a whole bunch of flack because obviously people got coronavirus from it. And I don't know. I've just not heard a lot of great things about that university. And the Syracuse fan base doesn't seem to have a very high opinion of them. I'm not really sure why. I guess they must have something controversial about. I've never really looked into it, but
yeah, I mean, I guess I don't know too much about Liberty other than the fact that they just became an FBS team. Haven't really looked too much into them, so you would definitely know more than I would.
They did hire Hugh Freeze, and it's been on record that Hugh Freeze cheats. So, I love the NFL draft. Remember, was it Laramie Tunsil from Ole Miss? He gets drafted, and then he gets up there when he's drafted. Oh yeah, he was paying us the whole time. Yeah.
That's a great way to instant investigation. What was he thinking?
Just I don't know. Maybe a coach must have been mean to him or something, hurt his feelings. So that's his way of getting back at him, I guess. I don't know.
I guess so. I mean, people, these guys have to remember too. Like coaches, I know that the coaches do care about their players, but they care about their jobs more. I mean, their job is to win and lose. That's what their job is dependent upon. So it's not, you're not always going to be able to get that players coach relationship. You know what I mean?
Bob Walker says, Eric, what does Syracuse have on the defensive side of the ball? Well, that's actually a really good question. I know that last year, I think Syracuse had some reasonable defensive talent on that side of the ball. But we just couldn't put the pieces together. We actually had a lot of games where our defense would play well. Like against Liberty, we shut them out. Against NC State, it gave us a chance to win the game late. I thought our defense played well in the second half against Pitt. What other games did we play that were okay? We had a few good games, and we had some really good talent. We had Andre Sisco, who was leading the nation in interceptions. We had Melifonwu, who was actually a pretty good player in the back end, and we had some young linebackers. We had two NFL defensive linemen, one of which went in the 5th round of the Seattle Seahawks, and that was Alton Robinson. And Kendall Coleman will have an NFL career too.
Yeah. So don't think that Syracuse can't bring in talent.
Unfortunately, and this was the thing too. A lot of Syracuse fans had a lot of love-hate with the defensive coordinator Brian Ward, and he had there were some really good games where we bent but we didn't break. We forced some timely turnovers. At one point, we were actually pretty highly ranked in terms of creating turnovers. But the thing is just that he failed to adjust. It just seemed to be like, if it works today, it's working. If not, if it's not working, we're still going to ram our head against the wall and just continue to do the same thing. we're just going to put the same scheme in and just hope that it works every time, which is why it looks so consistent or inconsistent. I mean, because the problem is it's too consistent. The scheme is staying consistent, and it's not based upon what the opponent's doing. When a opponent can play for overtime against you because they know they can just run the ball and beat you because you're not going to adjust, that's a problem.
Yeah, and that's the thing. You have to be able to adjust to changes when they happen, and some teams just don't know how to do that. I mean, hence us when we started losing to Navy, we could not adjust to it, and they ran the ball right over us.
Yeah, I mean, and sometimes you don't have the personnel, but I mean, if you don't have the personnel, I can't speak on how tough it is to like get players to like adapt a new way of like playing, or to change things up, to fit your players or what they can do. But I mean, if something's not working, you have to at least try something. I don't believe in throwaway years. You do what you can with what you have, and you try your best. But you don't just throw a year away and say, well,
no,
we just suck, so we're just gonna have to wait till we don't suck anymore.
No, you can't do that. You're absolutely right. I mean, that's how 2007 was for us. I mean, we just lost Brady Quinn, Jeff Samardzija, and all those guys. Had a lot of young guys that were taken over that weren't entirely ready, but you still come in with that mentality of you're going to win, and whatever happens on that field happens. But yeah, I agree. You don't just play like crap on purpose and just say the season's wasted before we even get it started. No.
And I understand when you implement your scheme and you're like, this year is going to be kind of tough, but we'll give it our best go. But, we probably know that this year is going to be tough. But you just can't keep banging your head up against the wall. It's literally insanity.
Well, speaking of this year, and Craig Sebring brought this up before. I hadn't had a chance to address it yet. With everything that's been happening the past couple days, especially with the MAC conference dropping their season, do you think we'll have a season?
Do I think we'll have a season?
Yeah.
That's really, what? At this point, with the way everything's going, I think there will be a season that starts. Yes, I do. But, and this is probably going to happen on college campuses as well. We're going to have a few people are going to get coronavirus, which if they didn't think that was going to happen, then they are just blind or in denial, because sickness is going to spread just like every single contagious disease or virus or whatever spreads.
Yeah.
And then they open up campuses, they have people around each other in some capacity, and then cue the surprise Pikachu face. Someone catches the virus. Unbelievable, right? And so then once then they'll act all surprised. All right, let's close down operation, people. 3 people on the team got coronavirus. I guess we can't play anymore. That's going to be what happens. I'm sorry. That's just, and I hope I'm wrong, but I just feel like that's what's going to happen.
Well, no, the big problem of it is a lot of and this is actually came from a coworker of mine who said this. And if in your opinion, if this doesn't have any truth to it, then feel free to call me out on it. But I think the biggest problem is all these younger people, like in the 20 to 29 age range, who don't take it serious and think, oh yeah, we'll just go out to the bars. We're not going to follow protocol. I think that's where it's hurting us a lot in this country with COVID-19. And it's not, and I'm not trying to single out younger demographics, because there's a lot of people my age too, in their mid 30s who are refusing to do it. But overall, regardless of what demographic you fall in, if you would just look, I don't like wearing a mask either, but if you would just do that shit until, there's like a vaccine or whatever, then there'd be no problems.
Well, yeah, and that's the thing. And people just gotta, suck it up right now, because and I'm going to be the first to say I do not really believe that this is to the capacity that they say it is. And this leads me to another point, and I don't know if this will end up seeming off topic, but
no, it's all right. We're all you've seen the streams. We are all over the place, especially when all the troll accounts show up. So you know how it goes.
You see those posts where it's like, remember that Trump disbanded the entire pandemic team. Make sure you remember that when you vote. Well, if by pandemic team you mean like the WHO, defunding the WHO, there's a reason he defunded the WHO, because the WHO all goes through who knows who. Anybody? Trivia question. Who does the WHO run through? Bill Gates.
Wait, what?
Bill Gates.
That's right. That's right.
Do I even need to explain why that's a problem?
No. I know he was
not even going to do it then. I'm not even going to do it then. I'm just going to leave it right there.
Well, I'm pretty sure that Bill Gates was talking about doing something like giving people a shot with microchips in it. Didn't I hear something about that some time ago? Did you ever read anything about that?
Not surprising.
I don't know if it was in relation to COVID-19, but I don't know.
But that's exactly what they want to. I mean, because just another thing to track you by. They already track you by your phone, your debit card. You know, that's already ways they track you. Let's just add another one. And I'm saying that I'm by any means an anti-vax, but I feel like there's some vaccines that like you don't know what's in that. Yeah. And I wouldn't be surprised if some of that's about population control and whatnot, because there are some vaccines that I believe are killing people. And
real quick,
everyone get vaccinated because that's money in his pocket. You know what I mean? And I'm sorry I didn't mean to cut you off, Sean.
You're all right. You're all right.
But just the same way that you know, they'd rather you eat the crap food they can get you addicted to and jack up the price of the good food. You know, they would rather you eat what they want you to eat.
And Mike Willard, who I think his real name is actually Derek, Black lives in general do matter. That's correct. But to hell with the organization, to hell with the movement. That's a terrorist organization. And then, excuse me, couple comments for you, Eric. Craig Sebring says, when we were talking about liberty earlier, he says, yes, my brother lives in Virginia, and he told me about liberty, and let's play, and I guess this is in regards to Notre Dame, let's play Marshall, or better yet, Rice or Old Dominion.
I can't say I enjoyed playing Liberty, and especially when we went to Liberty last year. Like, what the hell are we doing? Why are you going to Liberty? We get the money. Make them come here.
Yeah, I know, right?
What are we going to this entertaining this little guy for? The little guy comes to us. You're the new guy on the block.
And then Bob Walker says that your guys' defensive coordinator reminds him a lot of Brian Van Gorder, who was our defensive coordinator at Notre Dame.
Oh, Syracuse played against the Van Gorder defense in the game of no defense. The first 5 minutes. The first 5 minutes, it looked like an entire. You'd swear, like you're looking up there and you're like, is there like some kind of error or something? Like, did they put first quarter and they meant to put like third quarter?
Yeah, I know. I remember watching that game. It was crazy. One play, touchdown. Next play, touchdown. And so on and so forth for like half of the first quarter. And Bob Walker, that's cool, dude. You do what you got to do. Thank you, as always, for stopping in. And I'll try to have the notifications for these streams out a little earlier than what I did tonight. But thank you for stopping by. It's always a pleasure to have you join me.
Good night.
But then Craig has another comment. He says, I have a friend whose son went to Liberty, and he said that Liberty is supposed to be a Christian school, but that since they went to Division I football, that something is shady about their football. And I guess they kind of
And I'll give them this. They're probably the new guys on the block, and they're thinking, all right, we're going to have to do this, this, and this in order to win. People may not like it, but whatever. But that's, I mean, it does. I mean, and I'll tell you what, Liberty has been getting better every year, and because they had that one QB there, Calvert, I guess which was interesting that his name, like his middle name, was actually Buckshot, Stephen Buckshot Calvert. That is his legal name, which
Really?
is actually really awesome. That's really cool. But and man, I just lost my train of thought.
It happens. It happens. Real quick, Mike Willard, if you can produce to me one black person in this country that spent time on a plantation as a slave, then you might have a point. But get over it. Slavery has been out of this country for, let's see, what's it been, like 150 years now? So get the fuck over it.
All right, I'm actually gonna make this point.
Sure. Go ahead.
I'm gonna, Mike. You know what? I truly believe that you believe that. I do, and I, and you may I don't know if you'll be offended by what I say, and if I'm sorry about that, but I'm just gonna put it how it is. I think there's a lot of good people. Like there's good people I know too that I know are good people that aren't friends with me anymore just because I don't like the organization. But there are a lot of good people that are supporting this for what they believe are the right reasons. But what they don't know is that a lot of this is simply a sham to create some division. We should be standing up against one another. If we really want to talk about Black Lives Matter and reuniting, that's what this movement's about, right? Love, not hate. Well, the very people that are spearheading this organization here are about hate. The things that are being put out there, the things that are being shared, the things that are there on record saying are showing that they are about hate. And do I believe, Mike, that you very well could be about love. I believe that. But the people at the head of this organization are not about that. And the people that are promoting this organization and a lot of the people funding it, particularly George Soros,
you beat me to the punch.
Are not about supporting black people. All right? They're not. The government for a while has not been about supporting black people. The same government that's telling you this is a good thing are the same people that want a system where blacks are dependent on the government. So that way they can continue to tell them, hey, we're helping you, and then continue to get votes. That's what it's about. They don't care about black people. In fact, the left are probably some of the most racist people out there, literally using an ethnic group to get votes. That's racist to me.
Well, and also the funny thing is, and Eric, you've heard me say this on numerous streams when people like this Mike show up, which I believe is not his real name. I think it's the same guy that was here earlier with all the other accounts, and it's probably who Dwayne told me that it is. But the funny thing is, that's everyone's basic response for that is, oh, you're racist. You're racist. Well, myself personally, I know a lot of black people who are against this movement, are against this organization. And in addition to George Soros, as you mentioned, that you beat me to the punch on, the people that actually started the Black Lives Matter organization, I forget, they're two women, I forget their names.
Oh, I know where you're going with this, too.
They said in an interview, I forget whose show it was, I can get the clip, but they said, we are trained Marxist. Quote by quote. We are trained Marxist.
Do they even understand what they're saying? I really hope that they just are genuinely not very smart.
They are basically saying that they're communists. That's basically what Marxism is.
Mike, and I'm going to ask you a question, and this is just purely a question. I just hope I don't. Are you black? I'm just asking. It doesn't matter to me if you are or not. It's just a question because you were talking about how we don't know what it's like to be a black American. Well, if you are a black American, definitely please inform me about what you struggled with. And this is not, I'm not being a jerk. I hope you don't think I am. I'd genuinely like to know about your struggles being a Black American in 2020?
Personally, if it's who I think it is, Eric, then I know for a fact this guy is not Black. But I can't prove who I think it is.
Other than, of course, being a Black American and probably having your business burnt down by people who claim to be on your side. You know, that might be a struggle you're facing.
Well, here's another thing, too. If Black lives truly matter to the people that support this organization, then why are they sending out thousands upon thousands of people to protest in the streets when there's a pandemic going on?
And why, if you're a Black person and you don't support this movement, why are they racist? Are you telling me Black people hate Black people?
Yeah, I mean,
like, is that supposed to be some kind of self-deprecating joke? Like, I don't get it.
Well, and it's funny, you know, I had and Eric, I don't know if you heard me say this in a previous video or a previous stream, whatever, but, and I'm not gonna mention names here, but you know my buddy Jerry from Ireland, right?
Yes, I've seen the videos.
Okay, well, him and I on another social media website, we got into it with a former Notre Dame football player. And
you were talking about this.
You did hear that? You did hear that?
Got into it with all the details. So.
Okay. Well, we were actually, see, my other friend Ben and I, who do the Two Irish Brothers show, we were looking to have this guy on as a guest, you know, because he's a former Notre Dame player and all that. Well, I became friends with him, and it was getting to be too much seeing what I was from his post, because every day it was something else that, you know, Black people are treated this badly and that badly and so on and so forth. And so this, I admit, I brought on myself. I probably should have just kept my mouth shut, but enough got to be enough. And I left him a comment saying, dude, what you're saying here is completely false. Have you spent any time on a plantation? No. Have you really had it that bad in this country? No, I don't think you have. You got a Notre Dame education. You got to play for a major university who was on TV every week. You saw a couple of years in the NFL. So you really don't have it that bad, do you? And then it just started, basically, just things went to hell after that, because him and I got into it. I tried to present all the arguments like, hey, you're not, you know, your race is not the only race of people who have ever suffered. My people, the Irish, despite what, you know, this idiot said earlier, they were slaves. They were slaves. You know, the term indentured servants is just a way to, because it doesn't fit the narrative.
Yeah.
Because it's basically like if you're white, oh, that doesn't mean your people could never have been slaves.
You want to know another thing to blame for? Because you know what? I bet that if he genuinely like responds, which I really hope he does. I'm still waiting for your response to my question. But if we want to talk about Black struggles, all right, we can talk about this. There are lots of Black people that are in the ghetto. If you go around a ghetto, there are a lot of Black people there. All right. I believe we can blame a couple things for that, though. How about we can blame our media, because the same way they program you to want bottled water over tap water, they're the same thing, but you like bottled water more. I'm guilty of it too. I've been programmed that way. The same way they program you to that, they have programmed people into what class they fit. They have programmed people to believe that they are not capable of more than what they have shown. They have convinced them that if you're Black, that you're probably destined to be in the ghetto. And there are a lot of Black people that have overcome that and have not and are doing very well for themselves. In fact, at my college, my advisor in the OAR offices, he's Black, and he's doing. And it appears to me that he's doing very well for himself. And there's, especially on college campuses around, I've seen a lot of diversity at jobs with Black people. There's a lot of Black people that have gotten jobs, and this one here I'm not going to credit directly to Trump for, because I would be giving him too much credit. But during his administration, there were 3.5 million Black Americans taken off food stamps before this. why is that a bad thing? I think that's great. During this time that there's some of these African Americans getting off their feet, or getting on their feet. I mean, that's a great thing. But why do we not hear about this? Why do we only hear about how oppressed they are? How about just about like, sorry, I accidentally moved my table. But how about how far we've came from all these years ago? Why, and we're just never going to live in a perfect world either. There's going to be one asshole out there always.
And we're looking at him. We're looking at him because Mike just responded. He says, slavery might have been 150 years ago, but the effects are long lasting. No, I'm not black, but that's facts. Whites will never know what blacks go through.
By your comment, you've used the wrong grammar. Go through. How about went through? Am I ever going to know what a slave went through? No, because I was born in the year 2000. Slavery was long over by then. So no, and I don't know what they went through. You don't know what they went through.
No black person living.
We're talking about present, like now. I don't care about what happened then. I'm talking about now. I want to know exactly what those struggles are, other than what I've already just addressed and talked about. I'd like to know, what are these other struggles? Where is the oppression, other than, the what you hear about in the news, which they only make a big deal about that because, they know it'll get ratings. I'm sure that there's probably been a lot of cases of police brutality on white people, but I mean, that isn't newsworthy. So that's not gonna be a big headline. There's no one that's gonna be out protesting about that. But whatever. That's fine.
Yeah, this guy. I mean, he's obviously just a troll. I'm not going to say there's no sincerity to what he's saying, but I got the same crap the last stream I did. It won't be the last time, but it's kind of hard for me to take any of these people seriously. Now,
if Mike wants to have a discussion with me, I'll have one right now, and that's my response to what you said. We want to talk about the long effects of slavery. How does anyone who, I guarantee you that their great grandfather, or however many greats back it is, going through that, how does that trauma then go to you when you didn't even meet you haven't even met these people that were on the plantation? You don't even know them. So how does it then have some effects on you, other than you read it and you hear about it in history class, and just like the rest of us, you say, oh, that's terrible, which it was. But other than reading it, just like I have in a history book, how exactly do you know how bad it was? How do you know? You don't even know anybody that went through it.
Yeah, and the thing is, it's funny that you mentioned that, because this former Notre Dame football player that my buddy Jerry and I got into it with, he admitted and straight up told me that his I forget how many generations back, but he had relatives himself. And this guy's black. He had relatives who were slave owners.
Yeah. By the way, I want to bring this one up too. I mean, and honestly, it feels like pointless to make fun of Joe Biden, but did you see the comment Joe Biden made where he was like, Donald Trump is the first racist president to ever make it into office?
Yes, with all the other nonsense that he said, yeah. It's
I got hairy legs.
Please. I mentioned this earlier. I think it might have been before you got here tonight, Eric. But when people call Donald Trump racist, they can never say what
he's a pretty bad racist. He's doing a terrible job. If racism was a job, Trump should be fired. He's bad at it.
What has he done that's racist? Somebody please tell me that.
Other than what was it? He was giving out awards. There was a lady of color that he gave a scholarship to a college of her choice. Tell you what, that's really racist. I mean, you ever step up in the world, how could you do that? That's terrible.
I mean, I guess people forget what Joe Biden said not too long ago, and it was on a black dude's show. I forget who it was, but he said, if you don't vote for me, you're not truly black.
How about? I'm pretty sure I don't remember exactly where I found this, but they went back and found proof of him saying racist things years and years back. But God, that never comes up. That's not news. That's just
hey, Cowboy Longhorns, nice to see you again, dude. New viewer.
I'll be right back. I'm gonna go get some water. It's hot.
Yeah, go for it, man. But while Eric's taking a break, Mike, if that is your real name, I'm going to post a link here in the comment section. Why don't you go watch this video? And this guy on this video can give you a lot better answers than I can.
And honestly, Mike, if you really are sincere and you're not trolling, then honestly, I welcome your opinions. I welcome the discussion. And if we agree or disagree at the end of the day, that's fine with me. But I'm going to tell you what I think, whether you like it or not, and you're going to tell me what you think, whether I like it or not. So whether we agree or disagree, it doesn't matter. But if you're trolling, man, just go find something better to do.
Yeah, seriously. I mean,
trolling.
These people the same guy who creates numerous accounts. I know that's one guy with multiple accounts. I'm not stupid. I've been doing this way too long. And if it is who I think it is, if Dwayne gave me a pretty good hint earlier, just stop, dude.
Who is it we're talking about?
What? I mean, the person who I think it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I mean, I'm telling you, dude, this person, I had a bunch of stupid names show up earlier, and I'm pretty sure it's one dude with multiple accounts. Dwayne told me, Dwayne Roll Tide Roll here told me that he thinks he knows who it is, or actually that he does know who it is, but he doesn't want to give the guy's name away.
Okay. All right.
But if it is who I think it is, then probably Uncle Lou.
There was one troll comment that I've been here for that genuinely made me laugh. It was actually his username. I don't know why, but do you remember the one stream where a guy named Root E came in? Root E?
Group E?
No, Root E. Like he was supposed to be Rudy, but like
yeah.
And he was coming in to like troll you about the Rudy Ponzi scheme thing or whatever. I don't know why, but for some reason his username cracked me up. The other trolls kind of that just kind of gets annoying and repetitive, but for some reason that one cracked me up. I can't even explain why, but I don't even know. That made me crack up. Root E.
Yeah, rude.
Yep. Root E.
Probably to mimic the chants at the end of the movie when they're all going Rudy, Rudy. I think that's what he was going for.
Oh yeah, we watched that just the other night too.
You know how
first time seeing it too, which I was surprised about.
Do you know that movie is entirely inaccurate?
Actually, I did read about the real Rudy. And by the way, I would like to say, do you remember the scenes where he comes out of the tunnel and you can see his father in the stand?
Yeah.
Did you know that the real Rudy is actually standing behind him?
Yep, I knew that.
Someone in the YouTube comments of one of the clips to point that out and for me to be like, there he is. Like me and my dad have watched it like 100 times, but we watched it the other night and I'm like, see him back there? And he goes, yeah, I see him.
Yeah, I knew about that long before there was YouTube.
Yeah.
But other things that didn't happen. The Jersey scene never actually happened. Dan Devine, they make him out in that movie to be the villain. The truth is, head coach at the time, Dan Devine, he was very supportive of walk-on players. He had no problem dressing Rudy for that game against Georgia Tech.
Was Parsegian? Am I saying his name right? Was it Parsegian or
some people say Parsegian, but it doesn't matter.
Was Parsegian? Did he tell him he could dress too?
Yeah, Parsegian made him the promise, but then the next year, before Rudy's senior year, Parsegian quit, and then they hired Dan Devine, and They made it portray that Dan Devine was not going to let Rudy play, but that wasn't the case at all.
Mike just said something that actually kind of makes me believe he's not a troll. He doesn't like Biden, which if you like Biden, you're just at troll status. Either that or you're just a potato, one of the two. But I believe Mike. I think he there's a good chance Mike actually might be just supporting the group for what he feels is the right reasons.
So you're thinking he could be legit?
I think he could be. I think none of what he said to me really comes off as like trollish. I think he believes what he's saying. I may disagree with what he's saying, but I can respect that as long as you're not on here just trolling and just trying to get a rise out of, which you're not going to get a rise out of me. But as long as you're not out here trying to get a rise out of people, I will talk with you if you genuinely want to talk. We can talk, and we can disagree, and I'm not going to think any less of you, sir.
But the crazy thing is something I wanted to say earlier, when Jerry and I were going back and forth with this Notre Dame football player, one of his friends, who was a white dude from Connecticut. Long story short, I was going to go do a show on this player's friend's podcast or whatever. But anyway, certain circumstances came up and I wasn't allowed to do it. I mean, work reasons. And his white friend said on this show, and I quote, in 40 years' times, the population is going to be 51% white and 49% black or other races. So we're going to have less problems when there's less white people around. That is, I think, one of the most evil and most eugenic biggest statement of eugenics I've ever heard in my life. So basically he's saying the only reason there's problems now is because of white people.
Yeah, Sean, shame on me and you. We're terrible. We should just be eradicated. We need to be eradicated immediately and put on the endangered species list. And then instead, don't even protect us. Just let them lynch the rest of us too.
Yeah, never mind the fact that I'm racist. Obviously, you heard me get called that earlier. Yeah, I'm racist. Never mind the fact that I have a little second cousin who's black. My aunt is currently dating a black man. I've worked with several black people at past jobs. Do I have a ton of black friends? No, I'll be the first to admit that. But you don't have to have 100 black friends to have an opinion on what's going on. Because that's one thing this football player told me was that because I only had on my social media page or on my Facebook page, I only had 3 black friends on there. So what's he saying? That I have to have 100 black friends to have an opinion?
That's like saying I'm not a Syracuse fan because I don't attend the university.
Oh, I've gotten that before, plenty of times.
You're a Notre Dame fan because you've never gone to Notre Dame. So people have really said that to you, even though I think you've said that you've had some family connections to the football team, which is really cool.
Well, let me tell all of you something right now, and I think I might have said this on the last stream. I'm not going to go into too much detail because, I'm very protective of my family and all the stuff that I've had happen to me online. I don't want my problems to be theirs. I don't want anybody going and looking them up and stalking them. You know what I mean? But I'll just say this. There is a 1988 national championship ring in my family.
That's awesome. That's great.
I have worn it.
How did that feel, man? That must have been exhilarating.
Well, how it physically felt, it was kind of a tight squeeze because my relative has smaller fingers than I do. But it was awesome. It was really, really awesome.
Nice. The closest I've ever gotten any SU players was after the Clemson win. I got a couple of pictures with some Syracuse players and got to chest bump with some of my favorite players.
Nice.
That was really awesome. If only I'd have gotten out there sooner, I could have maybe gotten up to where they were given the interview and gotten some screen time or something. I don't know. It was a great experience. The man, I'm going to end up digressing if I talk about that Clemson game, man. I was so lucky to be there. In fact, you know what? Let's redirect the whole thing anyway.
Yeah, I know. I try to talk.
I don't mean it like that. I don't mean it like that. I just want to go back into football.
It is negative. All this stuff about, the BLM and whatnot, it's depressing as far as I'm concerned. It's honestly,
I used to be able to laugh. I used to be able to laugh at the stupidity, but now I'm like, man, it might actually kill us now. So now it's not so funny anymore. Now it actually makes you want to drink.
Well, it's because what's scary about it is these people in this organization, their demands are being met. That's what the scary part is. There's actually voting ballots to defund the police out there that are actually being taken into serious consideration. I'm like, that stuff is scary.
Yep. Unfortunately, there's nothing you or I can do about it sitting here. There's not much we can do about it.
But yeah, Dwayne and Craig, in addition, yeah, that's all. Yeah, Dwayne, you did tell me that you have a mixed granddaughter, and Craig, I didn't know that. But see, yeah, in addition to the relatives that I have that are black, I have 2 Chinese cousins. My aunt and uncle, they adopted 2 kids from China. And an interesting story, I came close, believe it or not, to having a Chinese sister.
Oh, wow.
My dad and my stepmother briefly thought about it. But anyway, they were able to have a kid.
Craig asked the question.
And yeah, my dad at age 50 had a child, which I didn't think he was able to still have kids, to be honest with you. But yeah, my youngest brother just graduated high school this year.
Greg asked me a question. He says, Eric, do you think Notre Dame should or will join the ACC? Sean, I don't want to get in trouble with you, man.
You're fine, dude.
Personally, and I know that this is a Notre Dame tradition, but I think Notre Dame should join the ACC for a couple reasons. One, I think the ACC is kind of being a little bit soft when it comes to this whole situation, because you're letting them join in one conference, which is like one thing. Like if Notre Dame was like, okay, let's be purely independent. Let's just be independent in basketball, which I don't know if that's even possible in this time. It probably is. If you can be independent in football, you can probably do it in basketball or whatever. I don't know if the amount of games makes any difference with that whole thing, or if it's just purely the NBC contract in football. I think it might be that, because I don't know if I've ever seen Notre Dame basketball on NBC.
No.
It's usually broadcasted on the same networks as the other ACC schools.
Yeah, no, the basketball is on the ACC network, and
that's one thing. I think it's a big NBC thing. It's a money thing. Like, do I believe Notre Dame likes to be, stick to history and be in the independence? Yes, but my thing is, if you're gonna be in a conference and all the other ones, why do you get to have your cake and eat it too? Like, I feel like if you're going to have your cake, just have your cake. And Sean, I can see you disagreeing with me over there.
No, I was just breathing.
No, but I feel like the ACC should be taking this as an opportunity to say, look, we're going to let you join the ACC, so that way you can have football. But
hey, a couple new guys that just joined. DC Skater 529, Cold as Brian. What's up, guys? Enjoy what you can, because I'm probably going to call it quits here in a few minutes, because I'm going to B-dubs here tonight. That's a 20-minute drive.
But
go ahead, dude.
I think the ACC should be taking this as an opportunity to be like, all right, we'll let you join the ACC, but if you're going to be in this conference in basketball and everything else, I don't know. I think Notre Dame's in the Big Ten and like one other sport.
Hockey. But hockey is set up differently in the NCAA.
Yeah. But if you're going to join this, join the ACC. And not to mention, I feel like Notre Dame joining a conference would actually help, because a lot of times people look at Notre Dame, they'll have one loss. Oh, freaking Notre Dame, they should join a conference. They should need to go 12-0 for us to consider Notre Dame for anything. Notre Dame's just going to get the doo-doo end of the stick every time for having one loss. They have to go undefeated, and that's hard to do.
You're right. It is.
Schedule, it's normally tough. I know the last couple of years, those teams that they play that are usually tough are down, but that's not really their fault, because they've always scheduled those teams, even when they're tough.
Oh, our schedules are made like 7-8 years in advance. And how are we supposed to know that teams are going to digress at that point in time? But you thought I was going to disagree with you earlier. I was going to point out that someone had said earlier on here in the comments when we were talking about the NBC contract and all that, Notre Dame gets paid $15 million a year from the NBC deal. And
definitely a money thing, yeah.
And somebody was telling me that all teams in the ACC and the SEC last year made like between 35 and 40 million bucks. I don't know if that's true or not. I haven't looked it up. But no, if we were to join the ACC, there were definitely
money, which they're not. They don't want to do that. Which is not, like, honestly, like, from a business perspective, that makes sense to me. But this is where the ACC is kowtowing a little bit, and they're just like, okay, Notre Dame, you could be in our conference and everything else, but football, we're not going to make you join. And if the ACC had a pair, they would tell Notre Dame, look, if you want to play football this year, you better join our conference. This is an opportunity, and they're not taking it. Notre Dame will not. There you have my answer. Do I think Notre Dame should join the ACC? Yes, it would be good for the league. I'm an ACC homer, and that Coastal Division is an absolute garbage fest. It's not good.
Notre Dame would beef it up.
Notre Dame joining that league would bring a lot of competitiveness, a lot of exposure, and would perhaps help other teams with recruiting, because they get to play against Notre Dame. They get to play in what would be automatically a better league if Notre Dame joined. And then the ACC could move to 9 conference games just like everybody else. And it would just be overall a good thing, in my opinion. I would love Notre Dame to join the ACC.
Yeah, and on our end, we could still have our annual matchup with USC and Navy. So that's 11 games right there, and then we could still pick.
Play those 2 teams every year, and then play whatever 2 teams. You could schedule a couple cream puffs, whatever you want to do, in those other 2 games,
I mean, like I said, independence is a big part of our history, and I like the independence part, being able to make whatever schedule we want. I like that. There's no denying that. But if it got to a point where we were forced into the ACC, okay, fine, whatever. But
if the ACC were to do that, you'd have to see where they're coming from, because, honestly, Notre Dame should be made to join the ACC. If you're gonna dance around this, not going in the conference, but you're gonna be in it and everything else. I mean, I feel like and there's an old saying, if you hop over the fence enough times, you might just get impaled on the fence. And this is a situation where Notre Dame has an opportunity to kind of get impaled on the fence a little bit, but ACC's letting them off the hook. I think that's what's going to happen. Notre Dame should join the ACC, but I don't think they will, and that's just the way it is.
Well, at the very least, I mean, we've agreed to play 5-6 ACC teams a year, so I mean that's showing some good faith at the very least.
Yeah, but I feel it would feel it would be better for the league if Notre Dame was in, because you'd play what, like 5 or 6 if we were to go to 9, because if Notre Dame were to join, we would go to 9 conference games, and you'd play you'd play all the coastal games, and then would you play 2 or would you play 3 teams from the Atlantic?
Let's see, there are 15 teams with us, I almost wonder if they wouldn't have to try to get somebody else to join that conference and even it out. Make it a 16-team league.
You want to know something else really interesting I just thought of too?
What's that?
You know how in each conference they have like the rivalries every year, like the two, like for example, Syracuse plays Pitt every year, Miami plays Florida State, Duke plays. Do they play Wake Forest ever? I think Duke. They have that team that they play every year.
Yeah.
From the other Clemson plays Georgia Tech every single year. I'm not really sure why or what the historic rivalry is there, but
wait. Are you talking about Are you talking about in division to division or from under?
Like Coastal Division, Atlantic Division clashes.
Okay.
A team from the Atlantic that plays a team from the Coastal every single year, and it's not an alternation. I would love to see the kind of matchups that they'd put Notre Dame in, because there's actually some to choose from. I do believe Notre Dame has some extensive history with Boston College.
Oh, yes. That's an understatement.
Boston College, on the NCAA football game I have back there, I'm old school. I play the 2004 on the PS2. That's what I grew up with.
I'm still playing a PS2. That's the newest system I have. I want to get a new system, but it just hasn't been a huge top priority. So I'm in the same boat with you, dude.
Dwayne, I think it would work out for Notre Dame better in the long run, but like if you look at it in the short, they would have to give up their money from the NBC. It would work out a little better for the ACC, perhaps, than it would for Notre Dame. But I think long term for Notre Dame, that would in terms of the level of respect and the level of slack that they get when it comes to making the playoffs. I think in that aspect it would benefit Notre Dame. But I don't know. You're going to have to let a fish go in order to make. I don't know what the saying is. I probably botched that up completely. But whatever. You get the point of what I'm saying.
Right. Well, let me tell you one thing, Eric. I mean, either way, independent or joining the ACC as a full-time member, I would have fun regardless. Either way. I mean, yes, I would like to stay independent, but if the ACC forces us to join, I would accept it. But you know what? As far as I'm concerned, it doesn't matter. Conference or independent, the goal doesn't change. It's to win. Go all the way, win national championships. And
college football is a better place when schools like Notre Dame and schools like, hopefully Miami and Florida State become relevant again. I feel like the league is such a better place. And that's another matchup, too. I'm not sure about the other Atlantic teams because you've got Syracuse, NC State, Louisville, other teams. But I feel like you could do Notre Dame, Boston College every single year if you were to join the ACC, or you could possibly do Notre Dame, Clemson, because I would love to watch Notre Dame, Clemson every year because I feel like Notre Dame was a way better team than getting beat 30-3 by Clemson here.
Protected rivals, as cold as Brian called it. And this relates to Craig's comment, too. The protected rivals would for sure be Boston College and Pitt, because Boston College and Pitt, they play in the Atlantic, don't they? I'm pretty sure they do.
No, Pitt plays in the Coastal. So if Notre Dame were to join, you'd play Pittsburgh anyways. You'd play Pittsburgh without the cross division. Pittsburgh is the Coastal division, yeah. Okay,
so Boston College would be the one protected rival. Who would the other one be? Maybe Georgia Tech, because we played them off and on even before the ACC agreement.
That's another one that's within the division. But if you're talking cross division, I feel like it would be Notre Dame, Boston College. That would make a lot of sense to me with the games that they've played over the years. And
Brian doesn't like the idea of playing Clemson every year.
No, I do because I'm a football fan. But if I'm a Notre Dame fan, I'm like, I don't know if I want to play Clemson every single year. But as a fan, I would love to see that personally. But I can understand how the Notre Dame fans are like, I'm Syracuse. I have to play Clemson every year. And, sometimes we get our ass beat. We got beat like 41-6, 54-0 one year. We played pretty well for a couple years, beat them, and then came really close another one. But other than that, we've pretty much gotten. I know we had 1 year where we kind of played tough, but they were like sleepwalking the entire game. They could have killed us if they wanted to. So really, we've had 2 competitive years, in my opinion, against Clemson, where we truly just gave them everything they could handle, and we just kind of either came out on top or, you just kind of had to tip your hats off to us and say they played an outstanding game.
Yeah. Well, listen, Eric, I'm probably gonna cut the broadcast off now because I gotta head out and pick up my food because I haven't eaten dinner yet.
All right.
But one final thought that I have is I think if that were to happen and Notre Dame joined the ACC, you would definitely have to find another team to even out the divisions. So I'd say just add UConn and call it a day.
UConn. I don't know. They're thinking about they might just drop a division. They're awful, man. They would get killed in any Power 5 conference. Then those guys are terrible.
If Maryland never left, we wouldn't have
left. Maryland and Rutgers are kicking themselves now because they're getting their ass beat routinely every week in that conference.
Yeah, but, so stupid.
Final thought for me though, I had a lot of fun, and for everyone watching, me and ND Sean have been in touch about doing, because Notre Dame and Syracuse do play this year, and we are in thoughts about coming on here before the game, maybe like a 30 minutes, something before the game. Perhaps I'm sure we'll talk a little bit more about how we want to do it.
Well,
we'll break down the game and who we think is going to be a key player, or just a preview of the game to start off, and then we'll live stream ourselves watching the game, and you'll get
the reaction video.
You'll get to watch the game with us in a way, if that's what you like to do. So if you're interested in that, Syracuse and Notre Dame played last week of the year, and no matter what the team's records are coming into the game, I'm sure it'll be a lot of fun.
Oh, we're gonna have a ton of fun with that, dude, and it'll be December. Long time since we've seen a regular season end in December, and in South Bend, no less. So it's going to be freaking.
The last time we played in South Bend, did we play in South Bend in 2008 that year?
Yeah,
that was in South Bend. That would be the last time then. So that's hard to believe. That's like 12 years ago, man. That's insane.
That's a year before I started doing YouTube.
Yep.
Like such a long ass time ago, and I was still in my 20s. I can't believe it. Where the hell has the time gone?
I know. I'm 20 now. I'm 20.
I'm telling you, dude, from a guy who's currently 34 years old, enjoy your 20s.
I will.
I'm not saying your 30s is bad or any later point in life. I'm just saying, the 20s is like sort of the prime of your life. Enjoy it, dude. Freaking enjoy it while you can.
I will. But anyway, thank you very much for inviting me on. I had a blast.
Yeah, dude.
If we don't end up doing this before the Notre Dame Syracuse game, because if you ever had me on again, I would. Before then, I would obviously love to.
Froze up on.
But before then, I'm very much looking forward to doing that. That with you. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, and are you available during the week on nights?
For nights? Yeah,
just weeknights. Yeah, because I was thinking, if you want to, we can do this. We can make this a regular thing where I do a live stream and you join me.
Yeah, that sounds good to me, man. I'm down for anything.
And my buddy JJ, who was on here earlier, I was looking to have him on so we could talk more about the hockey stuff that's been going down. But he was driving, and obviously I'm not going to bring him on while he's driving.
Driving? I don't know, man. I'm a bit guilty. I do a lot of videos in the car. Like when I'm driving is when I'm doing my thinking. And I'll be driving, I'll be like, man, this thought just came to my head. I got to go tell everybody right now.
Right, or else you lose it. You lose that.
I'm guilty, but I'm watching the road.
I trust you. I believe you. You're still alive.
I'm still alive. I'm still vertical. So.
All right, well, Eric, it was great having you on. Thanks for joining me. It was great talking to you, dude. A lot of fun. And I'm just glad that all the losers left before you got here.
Yeah, you didn't end up having much to say once we started bringing up some valid points. I was waiting for him. I was really hoping he would have something to say back, but unfortunately he did not.
And just remember to everybody out there, even though I said it to Eric personally, I'm saying it to all of you. Age is only a number. You are only as old as you feel.
Yep.
So, all right, everyone. So I'm gonna take off. Again, Eric, thank you for being here, and we'll be in more talks about the game in December. God willing, it happens.
I hope so, man.
So, all right, dude. You have a great night, and everybody else, you do the same. And
take care, everybody.
Yes, God bless all you guys.
And go Orange.
Go Irish. Go everybody.
Take care.